Hello and welcome to another wonderful time again on The Review. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and of course, Michael Ekene is right here. And we want to talk about the suspicion. Should I say suspicion, or I should say tension? I'm even thinking of the words to use because everyone is thinking different things as far as this protest is concerned. But one of the areas we want to talk about this morning is the fact that some persons are really in support while others are not in support. Then we begin to talk about division among Nigerians when it comes to vital issues. Why do you think the likes of Peter Obi talk about the likes of Atiku, talks about Alex Oti, and a whole lot of others who are big wigs and politicians supporting the protest? Then the likes of Kwankwaso, Kwankwaso is not in support. Then you hear some persons like the Oba of Benin saying, well, this protest is not worth it and all of that. Then a lot of people, Fayoshe was the other day talking to a media personnel in an interview, and he said, well, this is not the right way to go. Even the president has been begging, but then this protest, let's look at the people who are actually in support and people who are not in support. Is it that Nigeria is divided, having more than one voice?
Nigerians are in unison this time because it's a conglomerate of the masses and their representatives saying, okay, this is what we all want, and we want to converge and have this peaceful protest. Right now is the time for this, and a date has been set, and we're not going back. We don't cower in the face of intimidation and thuggery. Remember, Nigerians are very resilient and fearless. That's why we don't cower in the face of intimidation. The youth are saying we want this to happen. Nigerian Youth Organization, the several youth groups, activist groups, religious bodies. It's not for me, it is not antagonistic in nature. It is just a way to send a message to the government right now that, hey, we are tired. You don't choke us for neck, and we want to sort of soke. We want to express our grievances.
We want to speak out.
Yeah, we want to speak out meticulously. We want to express our grievances because we're Nigerians. Just like a bishop was warning today that Nigerians don't want to see a replication of what has happened in Kenya. Where we saw...
Don't even talk about that of Kenya, because it was something else.
Yeah, it was something else. When we saw the people taken to the streets and the government were paying deaf ears and they had to start destroying properties. We don't want to see that. Or we want to see youths that are expressing themselves. Of course, the court has made us understand that every Nigeria has that fundamental human right.
Yeah, the presidency also said it. But then one of the things that is actually surprising and amazing right now is the fact that some persons are saying this protest shouldn't go on, while others are saying it should go on. And Nigerians have this belief that opposition parties always come out to support anything that has to do with protest, since they are not in power. That's a school of thought. But the way it is happening right now, I think this is one protest that has received a whole lot of support from people. Yeah. Almost every Nigerian is agreeing to participate in this protest, even people that we don't expect.
Yeah.
But then the federal government in few days have come out to implement so many things. Talking this morning, we still heard about the cancellation of import duty for food items, and the signing of the minimum wage into law. Awesome. Then agreeing that Dangote refinery should be given crude. Even in naira, not in dollars, and even every other group.
That has been the prayer for a
But
long
despite
time.
all of this, because of the hunger in the land, a lot of Nigerians have resorted to embarking on this protest. We are waiting to see how this protest is really going to be. But the way it is right now, Peter Obi, Atiku, Oti supporting the protest. Do you think them supporting the protest is okay, because whether they support or not, Nigerians already have made up their mind, and they are resilient about the whole
I particularly
issue.
saw the criticism coming from
The reason why I asked the question is because a lot of people are blaming, in fact, that of Peter Obi is everywhere. People are blaming him left, right, back, front, and center
for endorsing
the protest. But then, whether or not he endorses the protest, Nigerians were ready. They were readily available for this protest.
Particularly conspicuous is that blame coming from Ohaneze and Igbo, telling Peter Obi, because we know they were singled out as the presidential candidate that contested with Tinubu, and they are now back in the protest, seeing it as anti-APC or anti-government. That's not what it is.
Meaning it's obvious that Igbo is APC. Yeah.
No, Ohaneze and Igbo distance themselves. They say we want to distance ourselves from this protest, but P2B coming out, they actually backlashed him for endorsing the protest.
They distanced themselves from the protest, then they backlashed someone who was supporting the protest. So it's obvious that for them to open their mouths to say, well, this person is doing this because the person is not APC, it means they are throwing their wings behind APC. That's what it means.
It's possible they don't want to be attached to the protest. They don't want to make it anti-government, antagonistic in nature. They don't want to look like the Igbos or those that support Labour Party are protesting because APC are the ruling party. That's not what it is here. It's just P2B.
But remember, it wasn't all Igbos that supported Labour Party.
Because we know even Sowore actually came out and asking youth, are you ready for the protest?
No, we know that of Sowore. Sowore must always support this kind of protest because he's an activist. Even before he became a presidential candidate, he's been an activist.
So from what I know, Ohaneze Ndibo saying, hey, we just lost our president in person of Iwanyanwu, so rest in peace. We don't want to be.
Then Uba followed.
Don't want to be on this protest. But then the agitations for the indigenous people of Biafra is still on the pipe. I remember just a few months ago, some leaders from the southeast went to see presidency to say, hey, is it not time to free our leader, Nnamdi Kanu? And right now, protest and then distancing themselves. What does that show you? Does that mean they're saying, hey, okay, we don't...
That's a support for APC. Because there's something they're actually asking from APC right now.
Oh, okay, because they want Nnamdi.
They want Nnamdi. Okay, so they don't want anything that will not be in support of the ruling party.
So that the request can be granted.
Yes, so that the request and maybe other things that they have in mind can be granted. They're actually backlashing Peter Obi because they felt Peter Obi is Igbo. And since Igbo has exempted himself, they felt he should also be with them.
It's a very
but then that thought doesn't go down well with Nigerians. It doesn't. If you feel because you have personal interest and you want every other person to support, to align with your personal interest, it's not good. Looking at what Nigerians are going through right now.
I feel P2B is speaking out of a concerned Nigerian that, hey, the hardship is so much. Even the rich are also crying because, the import duty suspension on food and commodities, it's a good thing.
Has the food started coming in?
Just announced today because it's probably a palliative measure. Just like you talk about damage control. The protest is imminent and you are now suspending the import. That outrageous.
That's even the reason I'm thinking this protest may not last for the 10 days, the stipulated 10 days. Because if the price of rice is actually reduced to that 40,000 as against 80,000.
We talked about that price of rice reduction being to specified centers.
Yeah, specified. It's not going to be on the shelves in the market.
In the market. Go to the market, the price is something
else. But then I think what that will do to the market forces is that it is going to raise a competition.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to raise a competition because it's going to be a long queue.
Have they announced a center in the Federal Capital Territory where we can go and buy rice for 40,000? We haven't heard. But they're saying distribution is going to the poorest of the poor in the community, in the society. Has that got into them yet? We also not heard. So I mean, the papers talk on the paper. The work is what was the
reality.
Work.
Let's see the reality, the practical. Let's see these things happen.
We
are tired of hearing
suspension of
things
import on food. Has it been affected?
Has it been affected?
Speculation?
Has food started coming in?
That's what it is. When Nigerians see these things in reality, when they feel it, of course, now they suspend the strike.
Nigerians are even used to hearing.
Yeah,
Okay, we hear these things, but we don't see it coming to play. Well, I think, Michael, let's see how this protest is going to go. But then what we are asking Nigerians for is make it peaceful.
Absolutely.
Don't allow anybody sabotage your good intentions, because some unscrupulous elements are really going to hit the street. We don't care whether they are being paid or not. We heard that some journalists were actually attacked somewhere by hoodlums in Calabar already, and the protest has not started, meaning some persons will really want to hijack this protest. But then you, the protesters, make sure you are vigilant too, and make sure you give necessary information to the security agents.
Absolutely.
In case you hear or see anyone trying to hijack this peaceful protest. And Nigerians try everything as much as possible to make this protest peaceful.
Also, I'm pleading also to the electricity distribution company. You guys know yourself, the electricity
needs to be available 247.
We are also pleading to telecommunication companies. We don't want to see bad network tomorrow, because Nigerians want to know what is happening, just like when we had NSAS protests.
Tomorrow's communication is going to be vital. So nothing should happen to that.
So that don't infringe on our fundamental human right and freedom of expression. Those parameters of expression should not be truncated, which is phone lines, internet, network, SIMs. There should be communication, so that if things are happening, if there are unscrupulous elements in a particular locality, so that we can quickly call security agencies to come and salvage the situation. If you bar lines, how do we communicate?
I think it's good that NCC have already given instruction that the bar line should be restored. I think by now that should have been done. All right, thank you very much, Michael. This is going to be Michael. Thanks for coming around. Thanks for adding your voice to the conversation. But this is going to be the size of the review for this morning. Just keep tab on the channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Oweleketv. Then, of course, our social media platforms will be boozing, and so many things will be coming up tomorrow to keep you abreast with everything happening. In case you're not on the street, even in your houses, you should be able to know what's happening. My name is Ramsey Enoch. We'll get to bring you more details as far as the protest is concerned. Have a beautiful day.